Hey, how's everybody doing? Pandy here of Pandy's Hair Candy and more. How's everybody doing? It is Wednesday, June 26, 2019, y'all. And I am here to talk about games people play. Last night's episode was fire. It was straight up lit, y'all, and it was just crazy good. But I was tired. It was late in my work schedule. But I'm here to talk about it today. So if this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. Please don't make it your last time. Please feel free to like the video on your way in and please subscribe. Take a moment to hit the bell so that you can be notified when I upload videos to the channel. If you are a returning subscriber, you already know what it is. Thank you so much for rocking out with your girl. And let's get right into it, y'all. Last night's episode, Games People Play on BET. It is still season 1, episode 10. It was titled The Way You Save. The episode pretty much jumps off from the beginning with Eric and Marques meeting up to discuss Marcus's plans to turn himself in. Eric, is Nia's boyfriend from New York. He is he's kind of a nerd on the geeky side, but he's an IT specialist, and he's acting real paranoid. Basically, he's snatching up Marcus's phone, putting it in the Ziploc baggie, sticking it in the freezer, and they're sitting in the bathroom with the shower running, having their conversation. Why? Because, as he said, everybody's always listening. And I guess, he didn't want to be talking with Marques knowing that Extra Ears was listening. So that's where the episode jumped off. In the meantime, Nia has stashed, of all places, Golden Goddesses. She has stashed Vanessa off because they feel like, this was the side chick that was messing with her husband, Marques. So it's the last place that the cops would think to look for her in regards to picking her up and arresting her and looking at her for the murder of Kalinda. Okay? Jackie, the basketball wife, which I believe we established her name is Jackie Hearn, she's texting Roxanne's phone. Remember last episode when they had the little scuffle incident at the little gala or whatever? Vanessa scooped the phone up off the floor, and Eric had been trying to get into the phone and sweep it to see what information he could find on her. So Jackie, they're trying to figure out, like, what is she doing texting her? How does she even know her? So, jumping the gun, Nia comes off as this very strong, secure woman, but then she does some dumb, simple, fly-by-night type stuff. Catch that with her. I don't know what it is, but she texts the phone back with some "hey girl, hey" type stuff. And Golden Goddess is like, "Girl, are you crazy? She would never talk like that." She responds back to Jackie trying to pretend that she's Roxanne. And immediately Jackie texts back saying, "Who the hell is this?" Okay, so basically you've been made. She already knows it's not Roxanne because that's not her character to conversate like that, either in person or in text. So she already knew something was up. Now, back at the King's residence, Marques and Kareem are chatting. Basically, Kareem stops by and he's doing what most typical friends that been riding what you do when you get caught up in some hot water. He decides he wants to go his separate ways. He feels it's time that they go their separate ways. And he just wanted to come break that to him face to face. Let him know, he love him, but it's time for him to roll out. Marques is all emotional, like, nah, bro, no, don't do this now, not right now. Things, come on, man. I got you and whatever. And he's like, I gotta do what I gotta do. In the meantime, Terrence is outside staking out Gigi's crib. He done followed and tracked Nia there as she went in. He's keeping eyes on her. We're still not clear at that particular time if he is working for the cops or if he's just looking out for her. I mean, obviously he works for the cops, but you know what I'm saying. Is he like leaking the information back to them is what I'm really getting at. Um, when Nia gets in the crib, I'm sorry, y'all. I keep looking at my notes because if I don't look at my notes, I'll get off track and start rambling. And I want to go over this thoroughly because the episode was so fire. So in the meantime, let me get back on track. I digress. Terrence is sitting outside of Gigi's crib the whole time. The only problem with that is that now the one time, or the police is actually trailing him or got some kind of tracer on him as well. So they show Detective Loomis and that other cop, I can't remember his name, at the precinct trying to brainstorm and figure out, where's Vanessa? Where's Miss King? Where is she? Think about it. Think. And then the one cop said, no, Loomis says, where would you go? And Loomis is like, well, I'm getting a signal on Terrence's car. He's been sitting outside of Golden Scottis' neighborhood for a couple of hours. They look at each other and bingo, the light bulb goes off. They're like, it's the last place that she would think, that we would think, to look for her, at her man's side piece crib. So they immediately start loading up all the forces. They're getting ready to head out and whatnot. Now, IT guy, Eric, I don't know if he's got a bug in the precinct, or we do know that he had put a tracker on Terrence's car. So he calls Nia and was like, get out. As soon as she answers the phone, get out of there. And she's being slow, like I said. What are you talking about, huh? Asking 50,000 questions. What? And then the other line rings. She's like, hold on. If your IT guy that has stashed you all is telling you to get out, you need to be getting out. Not clicking over to answer the other line. And lo and behold, who is clicking in on the other line? None other than Terrence. Guess what? Telling you the same dang gone thing. But you want to be all patient with him and be, well, how much time do we have? And just as she says that, you start hearing the sirens closing in. Okay? Now, wait a minute, y'all. Let me see if I'm jumping ahead. Am I jumping ahead? Yeah, I'm jumping ahead, y'all. I'm going out of order. But nevertheless, that's what happens. Vanessa, she bounces back to her guy. No, matter of fact, I'm not jumping around. I'm tripping. This is the right order, y'all. Bear with me. Vanessa, in their getaway, she ends up hooking up with her guy from law school, Bryce, to lay low. She decides that it's best to go hide out at the winery. Remember, she bought the winery with Ginger and Jackie, the basketball wives. Meanwhile, Marques has gone to the precinct to turn himself in. Nia and MJ are back at their office, which I'm not really sure. I kind of feel like they work for, I don't know if it's like a mix between a TMZ or, one of those type of companies where they do like celebrity gossip reporting, and she's some sort of journalist of some sort. So it's one of those type of things. When they're back at the office brainstorming, and they're looking at their little poster board where they've got all the pieces and all the suspects lined up, and they're brainstorming back and forth, and they realize that, Roxanne is the missing puzzle piece here. So they're talking. They figure out that someone is basically tipping off the cops. They suspect that it's Jackie. I don't know what made them come to that conclusion, but they suspect. So Roxanne shows up at Jackie's house, telling her that they're back up and running. She starts talking to her about somebody having her phone, and she's like, yeah, I lost it that night at the event. And as they're talking, Roxanne starts, pulls up some photos on her cell phone. And she says, she starts showing her all these beautiful women on the phone, like this one, this one, this one. Jackie's like, yes, she's good. She'll work. Yes, she'll do. She's workable. Is this one, has she had Pilates training or something along those lines, she said. And she's like, no. And she's like, well, she needs to. And then at the end, lastly, there was a guy, a handsome man. He was the last photo. And Roxanne says, and I got this one for Dante. And she's like, fine. And Roxanne was like, I can get someone for you too. And she was like, no, I don't need it. So right then and there, guys, it comes into fruition. We had already MJ had already called it out when he first met Dante at the pool party that her husband was gay. And apparently the rumors have been swirling around in the basketball world there in their town or whatever that he was on the low. But apparently he is gay, and Jackie, Miss Basketball Wife, Miss Diva, Miss Who Got the Biggest House, Who Got the Biggest Pool, Miss Best and High End and Top Notch of everything has been his beard this whole time. She's known about it. Now, Vanessa catches Ginger slipping at the winery because remember, she's always creeping off and sneaking off to eat this and drink that because whenever she's with Jackie, she can't do those things. I don't know what it is. So Vanessa confronts her. Ginger starts to fold. She tells Vanessa everything. She tells her that Jackie is actually funding Roxanne's company. She figures that the husbands are going to cheat regardless. It's inevitable. They're going to cheat. So in her mind, she feels like by placing them in a controlled environment and allowing them to cheat, and by controlling the women that they cheat with or employing them, that she somehow is able to contain it and it be controlled and less likely to get out or whatever. I'm not sure, but that's basically her thought behind it. So she has made a lot of money doing this, and she even shared that she was fine with allowing her closeted gay husband to openly cheat. Now, they flash back to 3 months prior. They show Kalinda arriving at Jackie and Dante's crib. Now, to her surprise, she thought she was going there to meet, I'm sure, the basketball player, but she's surprised when she sees it's Jackie there. Jackie confronts Kalinda about not getting rid of the baby that Marques gave her all the money for, and she's like, how did you know about that? And she's like, I know everything. And she's like, I own you. You work for me. You're nothing more than a hoe. And she's like, I'm not a hoe, and I'm keeping my baby. And she's like, no, that's not going to work. So They argue. Kalinda reads her for filth, basically, and is like, "Who are you, the queen of the hoes?" And tells her that when everyone finds out about your fake ass life and your gay ass husband and um, your whole side gig with this company as queen of the hoes, Jackie loses it. She loses it. They start fighting. I mean, they was scrapping and chucking them deuces like they was in the hood. Not like they was in a mansion, but like they was in the hood. So they start fighting, and she violently hurls Kalinda down these steep spiral stairs, a staircase in their home, because they have this big, beautiful mansion. She then panics and screams once she realizes what she done. She gets on the phone and she calls Dante and tells him she's made a big mess and she needs his help. Now, the Kings are basically cleared because Terrence must have somehow swapped out Jackie's DNA into evidence and passed it along as Vanessa's DNA, which ultimately clears Vanessa. Now, Terrence does get suspended, but apparently he keeps his job. Now, I did skip around. After the whole them reflecting back to the 3 months prior thing, Marques, for whatever reason, decides to pack up his little girl and go take her over to Jackie and them's house. And I'm like, you didn't have a nanny or a friend or even Kareem or somebody that you could have took the babies to? So anyway, I thought that was odd. And then he went and turned himself in. Then they flash forward to Kareem and, dang, I cannot think of his girlfriend's name. But they end up meeting up with Jamal. They sitting in the car. Apparently, Marques had gave him a check for $250,000. Even though he was salty about the fact that Kareem wanted to bounce and go his separate ways, he still looked out for him. He gave him that money, I guess, so that he could kind of, do whatever it is he wanted to go do, be that start a business, buy a home, move, whatever. Kareem, for whatever reason, was deciding to give that money to Jamal. Now, I really believe that we're going to find out later on down the road that Jamal is really Kareem's dad. I don't know why they keep referring to him as his friend, but I believe that's his dad. I don't know. That's just my thought. They haven't said that, but I'm speculating. Anyway, they're all in the car. Kareem, Jamal, and the girlfriend. Jamal starts trying to, reason with Kareem, like, why would you just stay and stick around? This is a lot of money, but you're $50,000 short. He's still pressed about that $300,000. This man is handing you $250,000 basically to get out of his life. He even argues with his girlfriend about it. She's like, baby, we could do so much. We could start over. Why are you giving him this money? And he's like, because I want Jamal out of my life. So they kind of start arguing back and forth, and Jamal starts having a dang on heart attack. Okay, Kareem starts panicking, acting like a son would, with seeing his father that he can't stand, but the love that's there. He starts panicking, and he's like, we need to call the police, we need to call this person, that person. He starts panicking, and the girlfriend's like, no, baby, you've been saying you want Jamal out of your life. This is our chance. She snatches up the bag of money and she pulls him out the car and they run off down the street. So, I mean, up at Nia's office, her firm is making a big deal. They're having like a big celebration because remember Nia's boss said, get me an exclusive, get me the story. Prove that your friend and our soror did not do this and, make it big. In the meantime, remember, MJ and Nia had been brainstorming trying to figure out who the leak was in the police station, and they came across this one reporter who had all kind of celebrity ties, and they some kind of way realized that he was connected with Jackie as well. So they had him in for an interview, and they were like trying to get him to talk about his sources. And he was like, I don't reveal my sources. I don't reveal my sources. And as soon as her boss walked in, he started acting like a school child. He got all prissy and just started kissing up and telling her how he was her biggest fan and he knew everything about her. She was impressed. And, he just started rambling off all his sources and dropped Miss Jackie's name. So yeah, it was interesting. Now, also, I left something else out. When Bryce came to the winery to meet up with Vanessa, he brought her some clothes and, things so that she could be comfortable and situated while she was stashed away hiding out from the police until everything got cleared up. But I also noticed he handed her a box and it looked like a pregnancy test. Okay? Now, I didn't put two and two together at the time because all these other scenes were running. But at the end, once the Kings were cleared and Marques was back at home, Vanessa was at home, they were sitting down getting ready to have a drink themselves. And she refused the drink. And she tells Marques she can't because she's pregnant. Marques is all pumped and excited, like talking about it better be a boy this time because, they got the little girl. Okay. So, next thing you know, it's later on that evening. She's getting ready to take a shower. Here come Bryce calling. And she's looking all around like, what are you doing? I told you can't contact me anymore. I love my husband and we're going to try to make things work. And he's like, I understand and I respect that. But I just want to know one thing. Promise me that you'll let me know if it's mine. So, in true games people play fashion, this was the nail biter and the cliffhanger where they left us hanging for this episode. And I believe next week is going to be the season finale. So here we got Vanessa's pregnant. Is it Bryce's baby or is it Marcus's baby? What is Kareem and old girl gonna do? They got 250 G's cash and they in the win. Okay? What is going to happen with Mia, Eric, and Terrence? Because Terrence is not seeming to give up. He's acting very persistent about wanting to fool around with her. And there's something telling me that just by the sheer way that she put Eric on hold and clicked over to answer Terrence's call and was listening more inquisitively, when he was telling her to get out versus when her man was telling her to get out, something's telling me something is there. And then he leaned over and kissed her when he stopped by the office to let her know that he had been suspended from the department. And she apologized and thanked him. And she asked him what his plans was. And he said, he'd probably do some private stuff. And, he leaned in and did that kiss on the cheek thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, basically in a nutshell, y'all, that was episode 10 of season 1, Games People Play. And that was my commentary. Again, it was titled The Way You Save. Also, I forgot to leave. It's popping back to me, y'all. They also showed us Golden Goddess, a happy, content, relaxed Golden Goddess at her house, walking out to the front room with some bedding. And guess who was going to be an overnight guest at her crib? That nice looking African. He told her that, he really found her attractive, and she was all smiling and giggly like a schoolgirl. And She even shared that, it was a little awkward but nice having a male friend around who wasn't trying to get in her pants. And he basically, and I'm paraphrasing, said it's not that he wouldn't want to get in her pants, but all in due time. He wanted to just be her friend, and it was the least he could do with what had happened with her friend. So it's going to be interesting to see where all these relationships take us in episodes to come. But again, y'all, that is the end of that one. Let me know down in the comments what you all thought. Did you all catch the episode? Did you guys think it was cool? Did you think it was lit? I thought it was really good. I liked the way it ended. Um, Let me know if I missed something or if I left something out. And let me know what your comments are. How do you feel about the show? I love it, and I hope it stays on. You know how it is when we get a new show. We love it. But I'm going to get off here, guys, because it's Wednesday, and Queen Sugar is getting ready to come on, and it's going to be episode 3, and I ain't done no reviews for episode 1 and 2 yet. So when I do review that, I'm going to roll 1, 2, and 3 together and just bring us up to speed on where we're at for the show. All right, y'all. Thank you for taking the time to stop by the channel and rock out with your girl. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later. Bye.